Dun-dun-dun. Hey everybody. We are yet again joined without our buddy Dale. He claims to have a problem with clicking the link to the Hangouts we're in right now. So
I think
I don't know what he's up to.
he's playing hard to get. He's just playing hard to
Yeah,
get.
I don't know. Maybe Dale feels underappreciated.
He just wants more love from the fans. More love. Show Dell some love.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna do what we are. Do it anyway. Get started without him. He'll probably. I think he's gonna try to join a little bit through. So if not, no big deal. We'll just we'll go over the usual topics we were planning on anyway. Talk a little bit of current market action. I'm sure Prince has some more detailed thoughts about that stuff than I do. Hopefully, at least. Anyway, Prince, how you doing, bro?
Oh, not too bad, man. Not too bad. How about yourself?
Doing well. I guess.
Okay. We got our Tezzies.
I was gonna say, yeah. After quite a long wait, we finally, Tezos finally launched late into kind of into the wee hours of Saturday morning. Or no, was Sunday morning even?
It's been pretty quiet. I think even now, there really hasn't been a ton of communication again on that whole we're launching. Like obviously the foundation put out some tweets, kind of get people ready, but there wasn't this huge it's official, it has launched, tweet to get everyone hyped. You know what I mean? It seems like it's been kind of flying under the radar for now. I think it's getting out there, but
Yeah, it very much has. I mean, the launch was super quiet. There wasn't
Mhm.
even really a big, and I mean, they had a blog post saying, "Hey, we've launched,"
Yeah.
but it wasn't some big extravaganza where they're going crazy on social media, having big countdown timers, what
Yeah.
happened on their website. And the thing is, too, I mean, 3 months ago, they had said Q2 of this year, BetaNet would launch when you'd have access to your tokens.
Yeah.
But there was no word or update on beta launch after that until it actually
Yeah.
launched almost exactly 3 months later at the very end of Q2. And I mean, like literally the night of the last day is when it launched. So,
Well, and you knew they were working hard to get it out. I remember just watching their GitHub activity and the commits in the week leading up to that, and it looked like, oh, these guys are pulling all nighters right now. They are just going, they're working. So you knew it's super busy, probably, a lot of stuff trying to get it going, and they were just, they weren't gonna miss launching it by Q2. I think that's a good thing. It kind of puts some,
well,
okay, it's like, hey, you know what? Yeah, it's taken this long, but they did say Q2 a while back and they held true to that. So,
certainly kudos to them. I'm very happy they
yeah.
launched. If I'm going to be, if I'm going to have pet peeves and be critical of it, which I think is just kind of the way I normally think, then I would say a couple things stick out.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, they launched without an official live working wallet. And
Yeah.
so, even though the network technically exists and is processing transactions right now, you can't really access your stuff unless you're willing to use a third party wallet
I think,
or willing to get really into some command line interface type stuff, which is,
yeah, there's Tezbox right now, but that's kind of like a web wallet. And I know myself, I'd rather just, be able to hook it up to my ledger, which I believe probably is coming out at the end of the week. We should see at least, right? But I think,
yeah.
most of the stuff so far to try to help, token buyers from back in the crowd sale has been done by that. Hopefully I'm getting his name right. Is it Stephen Andrews? Stephen Andrews?
Yes.
Yeah. So he
Yeah.
did, kind of like the activation code page for everybody, the holders, to activate their account. And then, he's done the Tezbox thing too. So he seems to be putting out a lot, and, huge thank you to him from, I'm sure, everybody, even, all the holders and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, by all accounts, this guy has done some really good things for the project. He's put together
Mhm.
some really, cool websites and gadgets and little things to help out relating to the blockchain itself. But the thing is, it's not to discredit him, but if you have that much money behind you, you should
Yeah.
have a nice official wallet that's been audited, that people know for sure is safe as hell, or or at
Mhm.
least vetted for this
Yeah.
sort of thing. Because Testbox looks nice, and people say it works, but
I'm
if
gonna
you're
give it
dealing
a
with a
little
lot of
more
money,
time. Yeah.
it's
It's
it's quite a risk to take if you're claiming hundreds of thousands of dollars,
exactly. Yeah.
So it's
Just let
like,
it chill. Let's just wait till we get
and
the hardware
this
wallets.
makes me think of something else with Tezos too, is The thing, I mean, their expectations because of how much money they raised, that's an
Mhm.
extra burden on them. And
It is.
so
Yeah.
you cannot view them through the same lens you view some random shitcoin that raised 200 grand, or
Mhm.
even that raised 50 million.
Yeah.
Because I mean, this
It
thing
is.
literally raised
Yeah. They're
250 at the time, yeah, which is now worth
over.
easily 800 plus. Like,
Yeah, it was well over a billion. During the full on bull
yeah.
market.
So the expectations for some project with that big a war chest are completely different than the expectations of the average project. And so
Hmm.
that's the lens I try to view it through.
Yeah.
And people might say, oh, these things take time, or, there is a
Hmm.
working wallet, but that's not good enough. If you have that much money,
Yeah.
it should be top of the line, everything.
That's a tough thing, right? Like, there's no matter what, for Tezos and the foundation, they're always going to have, I would say, higher. There's going to be higher expectations on them than I would say most teams with projects in crypto. But just because of that in particular, to me, it's falling, and they got the spotlight, right? It's just like EOS; they have the spotlight, and EOS is, obviously, it's been pretty out there about kind of the mess they're going through with their platform launching and all that stuff. So, these are two big platforms, and they got the spotlight, and it's I think it's a great time to be watching this, because it's like, okay, well, who's going to try and you know take some reign here? Who's going to try? Because there's a huge wide open spot, in my opinion, for that. And these two, EOS, Tezos, they're competitors. So it's going to be really, I think it's going to be entertaining to watch and see how this all unfolds now. So
Yeah, and the thing is, if you're really looking at Tezos, I'd say its two main competitors are, I don't know, I never know whether to call it EOS or EOS. It's like it's something I
yeah.
never say in real life. So when it comes time to actually say it, I'm like, yeah.
It's
But
like when people say, I've heard people say ETH, they'll just pronounce it as F.
oh, I hate that.
It's
I
like,
never do
yeah,
that.
but like some people
That's
do it,
pleb
right?
status.
Yeah, so like, who knows? Maybe it's the same, along the same lines, right?
I guess
Um,
if it's ETH, then it's EOS, right?
yeah. Well, yeah, yeah.
But
I
EOS
don't know.
sounds cooler. It
EOS does
certainly
sound
sounds better
better,
than F.
but yeah.
Anyway, its two main competitors are probably Cardano, ADA, and EOS, which is
Hmm.
EOS, obviously. Um, and so, if you look at it relative to that, technically it's further along in a lot of aspects.
Hmm.
I think one of the things is that it actually has a working proof of stake model, which is not that common in crypto yet. And that's something if you
Yeah.
compare it to something like Ethereum, which is another competitor, but I consider it so much further along that it's not even worth comparing right now.
Yeah.
But they have to transition to that, which you brought up in chat today is not going to be an easy thing for Ethereum to do.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see how that goes over, because obviously there's going to be a lot of miners who, where are they going to go now? Are they going to get involved with the proof of stake stuff? I don't really see that happening, as they have these huge mining farms, so where are they going to bring that hash power? It's going to be a really interesting situation. And I'm not the most technical guy at all, so maybe I shouldn't even be commenting on this, but from what I've heard, Ethereum is going to have a tough time implementing proof of stake. Like, it's not going to be an easy task. And I think, it's something that's been talked about for ever since I've been in the space. And, I think Ethereum was around like $7 or so at this point, what I'm thinking of. And it's, proof of stake was talked about then. So it's going to be interesting when it happens, if it happens. I think they're going to have a lot of challenges towards that. And so that's an interesting aspect that, Tezos has now, because they're not proof of work. They have the delegating system set up, proof of stake. So,
And it's like people are baking, which is like the Tezos term for staking,
yeah,
like right now. Like it's actually working as we
yeah.
speak.
I think, yeah, the people who got their delegated their Tezos, like as soon as they could get them, I'm pretty sure now they're officially like in the cycle. Because it takes like a week or so to get through a cycle of you just holding your coins, and then after you get through that first cycle, you'll start earning rewards and stuff like that. And so I believe, yeah, like I think they're getting into that now, where some of the first in for the delegating bakers, they're going to start getting payouts.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited, and it's funny because we're going all over Twitter and we're seeing it, and it's just everybody's, like, holy shit, it's like, look at how much it's dumped, it's so much, and I
It
think
has dumped quite a bit.
it has, but we got to remember and take into account that we were going off of a price off of HIP BTC futures. If we want to go and look at the history of HIP BTC futures on coins, it's an absolute crapshoot. Like, I don't know if anyone remembers the Ignis futures, but That was probably the biggest joke I've ever seen in my life. And there was a lot of people who probably got screwed on that whole dealio. But, and that's the thing. And, you know, they're IOUs, so I don't really trust them. I wouldn't be going there to try and trade. I don't even know when they're going to activate them to the main coins and give the IOU holders, you know, their Tezos. So it's just a weird situation. And it sucks right now, though, because, you know, I want to go in and I want to buy some of this. Like, I want to get some coins here. Like, I'm seeing Tezos going sub $2, you know, and I'm just like frothing at the mouth. Like, can I please use an exchange that I can like actually buy these on? Because I can't use any of these exchanges right now. So I'm just sitting here, you know, and I know I'm not the only one. There's like, because, you know, Canada can't use Gate, US can't use Gate, Japan can't use Gate, and Gate is kind of pushing all the volume right now. And so it sucks, right? And so people are like, oh, look at the carnage, look at the dump. And it's like, well, you know, sure, we might get more dump because there's a lot of people who can't even access it. But with that being said, I know there's a fair amount of people who want to be buying this up right now, and they can't. They just don't have access to those exchanges.
Well,
so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, somebody on Reddit was posting an email response that they allegedly got from HitBTC, and they were saying that they are not going to convert the IOUs to real tokens until mainnet launches, which is probably another 3 months. And so if they
that's
decide,
garbage to me.
yeah, that would be absolutely absurd. And so if they decide to do that, then I mean, I think it's a terrible decision.
To me, that makes the price on HitBTC completely irrelevant now, especially that, you know, there are tokens out there circulating and they won't even redeem the IOUs for them. You don't even take that price into consideration now because there's no point. Anybody trading that, you know, they can't get it out, and who knows if you're ever going to get it. Right?
Because the thing is, once people get in this, let's say it gets listed on Poloniex or Bittrex or Binance between now and 3 months from now, when HitBTC converts those IOUs. No, I mean, people are going to start trading on one of those sources and never ever go back to HitBTC.
Oh, so, yeah.
Once you lose it, I mean, the timing is important on this sort of stuff. Because we say this all the time. People are like, oh, liquidity, liquidity, liquidity. But like, it builds upon itself, you know? So once you become the place to go, then people remember that and they go there in the future. So,
well, and you know, not just that, but I know, like, I've already heard of people who were holding the IOUs on HitBTC and then hearing, you know, it's like, oh, I might not get these until mainnet in 3 months. They're just dumping, you know, it's just market sell and let's go over to Gate because these are, you know, this is a waste. Why am I even here kind of thing, right? And so it's a tricky thing,
you know, if you like Gate, then fine, but Gate looks kind of bush league and like
I just wish I could use it. I want some of these.
Yeah, for people who don't, it's closed to US, Canada,
and not even worth trying to bypass it with a VPN because, you know, I'm sure there's some people out there who think, you know, whatever, you know, just use a VPN. They won't know. Well, as soon as you try to withdraw, they're going to ask for KYC and you're going to have to provide verification on where you're from.
I already made an account with VPN. And I was like, oh, this is too easy. Like, I'm just going to transfer my shit here and liquidate some of it. And then, I found out you need KYC with a proof of picture to withdraw, which is no.
Okay.
But, I mean, that's another thing with Tezos where if you have that much money, like, we know these good exchanges are expensive to list on. By all means, throw $1 million in and list on Binance, you know? It's just, I mean, like I said, like the lens this project is viewed through is different than a lot of other coins, most other coins, in fact. So, I mean, you should have one of these exchanges lined up like for launch. And I know the project had a lot of problems, but
that's the interesting part to me is, you know, okay, when do we get our first top tier exchange? We'll call it. You know, when is that going to come? And I feel, you know, there's a lot of projects who they need to go out of their way to try and pay to get onto an exchange. You know, to me, it's like a complete requirement for them because there's no reason for them to, you know, to be listed. You know what I mean? It's just another shitcoin. But these exchanges know that Tezos has been, you know, a highly discussed project for quite some time. And so I do believe, you know, they should just list it just because, you know, it's like there's going to be the trading fees. People are going to want to trade it. There's going to be a lot of volume. You know that, right? So I think, you know, really to me, it's a matter of time that we get a big exchange listing it. But again, you know, with all of that, you know, it's a new blockchain that they have to get ready for. It's not the simple ERC20 shenanigans, right, to add a coin. So who knows how that whole process goes? You know, I don't run an exchange. I don't know anybody who does. But
I mean, it's definitely more difficult. But I feel like the fact that Gate who I've never
Yeah,
even really heard of before did it, then
I
it
think
can't be
Gate
that
was
hard,
pretty smart.
right?
I think, to me, in any exchange, out there trying to get that advantage, they should have been really hot on it, trying to get it, listed and trading, kind of like Gate did. Because you look, I think it's the highest volume pair right now on their exchange. And that just, and,
I
there's a
think it
ton of
is,
people.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
a ton
top
of people
two
who
or
can't
three.
even access that exchange. And there's a lot of people who, even if they can access it, they're not going to. You know what I mean? So it kind of just shows like the interest is definitely there. The people want to trade it. So to me, it's just a matter of time now. Gate kind of got that. They got their foot in the door really quick, and props to them for being on the ball with that. But I think it's just a matter of time. In the next 2 weeks, we're probably going to see more exchanges. Saying, hey, deposits, withdrawals are now opened, and you can start trading Tezos.
Well, I think, like you said, the good thing is the volume has been pretty impressive on Gate for Gate.
Yeah,
Given that it's closed off to a lot of the money in the world.
yeah, that is a thing. Gate doesn't push a ton of volume, right? Compared to some of these top two exchanges. I think what I was looking at them yesterday, I think their total volume for their exchange is about 60 million, which is, I'd say pretty, just in the pack kind of thing. It's nothing
Yeah,
special. And I know, like, yeah, Tezos, I think, is pushing, it is now, I'm pretty sure,
10
the
or
top
so.
volume. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was about 10 million in volume. Last I checked, a few, like, midday or so, but
And the thing is, like, you see some of these coins where they hit an exchange and nothing happens. They just
Mhm.
like they could not care less. And like when a coin gets into that like low liquidity, no interest death spiral, it's really
Mhm.
scary because
Oh yeah.
you can't get out of those things.
Yeah.
When I mean, if there's no liquid market, it's just
Yeah.
you're completely stuck with
Yeah,
like not even
and that's how I see these IOUs on Hit BTC. I don't, I've never thought owning those would be a good idea to begin with, and I just see that now is going to be, who can just get out the door first holding those things,
yeah.
because who the hell, wants to keep holding on to IOUs when the beta net is already up, right? So
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's touch on. I guess we'll touch on this
oh,
Syscoin
Syscoin
crazy
dealing out with
spike.
Binance. Yeah, it hit what there was. Okay, so it hit. I believe it was Crypt Orca on Twitter. He's got a pretty big following. He was kind of doing a little bit of a chain tweets on it. He was kind of looking at the APIs and all this. And so it looks like 11 Syscoin got sold at literally like 96 Bitcoin worth. And then there was another like 13,000 Syscoin that got sold over 1 BTC worth. I think it was like 1.1 BTC. So this is insane, right? Like, holy crap. So it's seen, and apparently there was some, I don't know how it was all going, but people are seeing there's like, oh, there's a big 7,000 withdrawal from Binance right around this. People are getting all freaked out. And it was funny because right after that, I had withdrawn my coin from Binance to kind of, it's like, okay, well, let's be safe than sorry. And then the whole thing goes down for maintenance, right? And nobody's doing any withdrawals. So they'll probably roll back those trades that happened. But it is, on Syscoin, they'll probably roll them back. But, what the hell happened? Obviously we see Syscoin has, there's like an issue in their blockchain. We see their team coming out with a tweet shortly after all of this goes down. And then, of course, the wallets are all closed for deposit and withdrawals. This is going down, and this is just the classic, right? It's like the most ridiculous pumps will happen whenever the wallets are, you can't do deposits or withdrawals. That is always when you have the just most ridiculous pumps. And of course, here we go, Syscoin. So.
And you know what pisses me off about this, like really bad, is every time one of these things happens, like whether there's a gigantic dip or a gigantic pop, I
Mhm.
always tell myself I'm gonna set some crazy bids, crazy asks, like just in case like this kind of thing happens again. And
Yeah,
then
it's funny because I think all of us have had this thought, right? Because this happens in crypto at times, and it's sometimes it happens for on the dump side, say for bidders. It's like I think we just saw waves get just dumped like crazy at one point. It's like it just dropped like insanely, and then pops all the way back up. Whereas whoever was buying it, I think they would have made like a 10x on their money right away from the bids they had because of the flash crash. And so and I think that happened on GDAX too a while back with the Ethereum flash crash. So there's always these situations that happen, whether it be these the Viacoin flash pump that just went insane on Binance when those guys the hackers kind of took over some different accounts with their bots and all this trading bots. And so it's interesting, and it's something to do, but at the end of the day, it's like you see some people and it's like, oh damn, I can't believe I didn't have high sells. It's like, well, are you really, like, at the end of the day, if that hits, it's pure luck.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? It's a pure lotto ticket. So sure, maybe put a few, but don't be counting on it happening. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's not a good overall strategy. It's fun to play around with,
but hey, if you got rid of those 11 Syscoin at 96 Bitcoin each, you had a pretty good day at the office.
Can you imagine, dude? Make like several million.
Fuck, man! Like, and I'm curious what really went down, and who knows again if it was something that just went wrong with some trading bots. The APIs got fucked up or something. I don't know. Maybe it's a similar situation to the Viacoin extreme kind of mass pump and then dump quickly. Who the hell knows what went on with it? But obviously, something's going down behind the scenes. Don't really know, but I'm keeping tabs on it. It's interesting situation.
Yep. Alrighty, let's talk a little bit about what the markets have done since our last episode, which was late Thursday night, and we released it on Friday. So at that point, I think Bitcoin was hovering around 6,000. It was still kind of teetering on that important high fives, low sixes zone. And pretty shortly after that, we rocketed up to that's too strong an adjective. We rose up to like 6.8, 6.9-ish for a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch here. I think the whole people eyeballing the margin longs and shorts on Phoenix maybe it got to be a little bit overdone at times there on crypto Twitter, but it's been a little interesting for me to watch them again, because here we are at a situation where there is a pretty big gap now. Shorts have really been closing off quite a bit, and they've been closing off pretty aggressively, actually lining up with the CME futures closing out those contracts last Friday. So it's been interesting to watch this, and this kind of goes to the narrative that a few people on Twitter mentioned. I think Stardust was one, that as soon as those contracts expire, you'll see Bitcoin start bouncing, because these guys were probably all short these contracts. They're going to ride these shorts all the way into expiry, and then they're out of their positions now. Maybe they'll flip long. Who knows, right? And then right after they expired, we see this nice big rally, right? So I think it's all tied together, but it is intriguing to me watch right now, because we got shorts down. There's a pretty big spread between shorts and longs. Longs keep climbing. They're pushing, pretty high levels on their own right. So it's interesting for me to watch. I don't really have a say right now. I think we could go higher still, but with that being said, there's some key levels that we don't want to break through. And, I still think at the end of the day, we're going to go back down at some point and get back down around these, that 59, 5,800 levels, maybe go a bit lower, maybe freak people out again. But, for now, though, I think for now we could still see more of a rally in this all. It's tough at this point. I was riding some longs from about 58.22 for a while. Got rid of most of them around 65. I don't have any position, because to me right now I just don't see the play at the moment. I've seen charts going on about there's a bearish wedge, and we're breaking down from it, and so that could be valid too, and we could see the full play out on that. So right now, though, I'm just playing divergences and just playing.
What I was going to say? You've been known to sometimes say certain things on the podcast and do the opposite things in trading.
Well, here's the thing, right? And I always tell people, don't.
I guess neutral is a trustable answer.
Yeah, don't ever take what I say as well. When it comes to altcoins, I'm never like those things. Alts are a mess, but with Bitcoin and all this stuff, it's I'll move quick. If I have a position and then all of a sudden I feel like my position is no longer a good position, I think, what, okay, now this has changed. I'm quick to it, right? I'll change it. And this is why I don't post my trades, because sometimes it could look like a complete shit show if I'm posting my trades. So I don't tell people. There was a time I told Dale what I was trading, and I think I had ended up being in and out of the same coin like four times through the day, just kind of scalping it for short profits. and just because I saw the opportunities for it, and I was kind of bored, and end up telling Dale that, and he's just like, "What the fuck, man?" Like, it's tough. This is why I don't tell people really what I'm trading too much, because it's I go in and out. And I do what I want to do.
Okay. I think the one thing with the Bitcoin price is like, part of me thinks there hasn't been enough pain yet. And so I think we go lower and with more volume. But there is another side or maybe this is just like the optimistic side that wants to buy into this W pattern we have forming kind of long-term-ish on the chart.
Yeah. I don't know how much I buy in to those at times, but
Yeah.
we'll see. I just want to see some volume come back. We get some volume, and that is, what I want to see. It's kind of light, but at the same time, this whole CME, their contracts closing now. There's a new contracts out there, and seeing kind of the pop that happened right upon that close, that was a pretty, interesting sign to me. It was like, okay, well, yeah, these guys they were riding those short contracts all the way down till expiry, and they wanted to get as much as they could out of them. And, ever since then, we've seen even on Finex, the shorts have really diminished quite a bit since then, and longs just keep increasing. So this is something I'm watching. And another thing I'm watching is the OKCoin quarterly contract. I'll always keep an eye on the OKCoin quarterly contract above all the other contracts. I'll watch the OKCoin quarterly more than I'll watch the BitMEX quarterly, just because OKCoin has been around for so long, and so I find there's a lot of guys who've been around forever who trade a lot, and they'll stick to OKCoin for it. And so watching if these contracts are trading at a premium or at a discount to the spot price, to me that has also been a good indicator. In the past, if you see it's trading at a discount, well, typically you can kind of count on it continuing to drop, even if it's going to be slow. Then that quarterly is at a discount. Typically it's because guys are shorting it. They're getting heavy on the shorts, right? And vice versa when it's trading at a premium. Guys are starting to, obviously they're pushing the price up more, and because they're longing, right? So that is one thing I've been watching, and that's been trading at a premium again as of late. And it started to actually kick into a premium again right around also when those CME contracts closed, right? So just little things I'm watching, little things, and I find it, it's all kind of interesting right now. And again, you just trade price action. You go with the price. You don't have a bias. You don't want to be the guy who's locked in to say, yes, this is going to happen, and this is what has got to happen, and I have no doubt in my mind on this is what's going to happen. You have to be flexible, right? We're traders. Anything can happen. So you just got to be limber. But, these are just some things I'm observing, and it's intriguing.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I think we're going to keep this stream pretty short and sweet. So
I see what someone posted in here, Binance. You hear that? Binance. I catch myself now. Binance security update, API key reset. So that's intriguing. You guys watching this whole fiasco, let's you got to stay in tune with what's going on with Binance, because it would be really terrible if something terrible, like if something big happened to them, that would be, it would be massive. Binance is one of those exchanges you do not want to see them get hit by something like a big hack or something like that. And
that's what's tough, is your risk goes up the bigger you get, because you're more of a target. I mean, you have more resources to defend, but you're also way bigger of a target. So
and it's crazy. Like Binance is a huge target, but CZ, if there's one guy you want to trust and have confidence in, to me it's CZ. He's the guy's been around, and he's pretty for real. So
yeah. What are you having for dinner tonight, bro?
I already had dinner, man. It was some like some like fried chicken kind of thing. It was just delicious. Yeah, just cooked up.
I'm gonna get some Chick-fil-A on that note.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, good having you here, everybody. We'll try to whip Dale into shape, get him on the next one.
Yeah, Dale's slacking right now. You guys got to give him shit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, everyone if you listen to this episode, give Dale a ton of shit on Twitter and Telegram if you have these vehicles.
Just hard on him. Just ask him what the hell he's doing. He's letting you guys down.
Don't even ask him. Just tell him, Dale, you're messing up. We miss you. So anyway, we'll see you later, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week. Happy
Yeah.
July 4th. This will be out on Wednesday or Thursday, but we'll figure it out. We'll talk to you guys soon. Later.
Later, everyone.